All right, good morning, Mike Ritsema here with i3 Business Solutions, talking about my top 6 functions in Microsoft Outlook and Microsoft 365, the power of the platform, the power of the integration. Let's get straight into it. We're going to cover 6 items. I'm going to move it off to the side and demo this, but we're going to talk about working offline, customizing the ribbon, quick parts, and templates, and auto text, and quick steps, reply with instant message in Teams, share my calendar, and then the 3 bonus items are rules, governance, and message header analyzer. So let's get right into this, and I want to warn you, I've been trying here, but this is going to take us 15 minutes. Let's talk first about working offline. So I have a lot of to-do lists. I imagine you do too. And that is, the personal to-do list, the ERP, the PSA system, the platform, line of business, action items, written to-do list, lots of to-do lists, but the inbox is one of them, right? So I can work offline. So if we come up to the toolbar at the top, I've added work offline. And if I click on this, I can now focus on my project or focus on email, replying to it and getting caught up. And then the problem is, though, if I reply to this email, it goes to the outbox and it sits there. And that's a problem because now I send 2, 3 emails, I pick up the phone, call you, hey, I replied to your email, let's talk about it, blah, 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 you didn't get it. So I can click here and send all. So I'm working offline, I'm getting caught up, and I can send the emails while I'm offline, so that if I call somebody and to discuss it, they've got that. I like the work offline feature of Outlook and highly encourage you to do that in order to focus and get work done. Second item, customize the ribbon. So we are up here in the ribbon, and the ribbon does vary from view in Outlook. So if I create a new email, then the ribbon changes. And so I'm in a new email or reply email, I get a different ribbon at the top. And so let's just say I'm sending an email, by the way, and I go to the body. I am a little OCD. I want to file this. So I'm going to file it in a folder neatly. Even though it's searchable, I can find it anytime. And then I want to attach a file. So I'm going to attach this file and I'm going to share the link, not the physical copy. So there's only 1 copy in the organization rather than 29 copies in the organization. And then we'll talk about this with governance. But if this is a, by the way, we're getting together on Friday night at 5 o'clock, don't forget, and it's 11:04 in the morning, I don't want to interrupt the entire company with this email. I can delay the delivery of it. So when you hit the delay delivery, which is found under the options tab, and rather than hunt all over the place, I've added it to my ribbon up here. I can delay, it defaults to 5 p.m. tonight. I can change that to noon if I want. I send some right at straight up noon, or I can make it 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. So now I'm delaying the delivery of this. It'll sit in the outbox until 6 p.m. tonight, and I will get a warning about that. So that's customizing the ribbon. How do I do that? Well, I just go down to the drop down, more commands. It defaults to the popular commands. And if you go to all commands, hang on for dear life, and good luck finding the one you're looking for. There are just so many commands in there. So customize ribbon to help your work go faster. Now there's so many different ways to put auto text into an email, and I highly encourage us to use them. One of them that I don't use that often is templates. So these are the templates that I've created. And I do have one around scheduling a meeting and the I'm running late type of thing. I don't use them that often. What I use is this quick parts. And if some of you have experienced this, if I call you and say, hey, let's get together on Tuesday or Thursday, I'll follow up on an email that says, hey, Tuesday or Thursday morning or afternoon, what works for you. So this is the standard email that I can just put directly in there from Quick Parts, a standard email. How do you create a quick part? All you do is select the text, the paragraph, the email that you send on a regular basis, and you're like, man, I type this every week or every month or every day. And then you go to Quick Parts and you say save selection, give it a name, maybe a description, and save it. And now you've got this thing for future reference. Add a quick part. If you're in the subject, you can't add a quick part. So clearly I have to be in the body of the email to do a lot of these things. But the way that I also use quite often for quick parts for email templates is through email templates. And so what we've done is created these email templates. I wrote one years ago about our reliability service. It sits in sales documents, in email templates, good content. And so rather than rewriting this thing, I just double click on that email and it opens it in Outlook as an email. And that's pretty much what I want to say. I added to it recently, and you can edit it and change it and send the email. How do you save an email to a template? Well, that's easy. You either use the save button here or file, save as, and then you choose where you want to put it. You can put it on your shared file folder right on your network. You can put it into SharePoint document library. You can put it into your personal OneDrive. So saving an entire email as a template to use in the future or for the company to use in the future is a powerful way to improve productivity at your organization. So I'm a big right-click guy. Some of you know that. I am a big right-click guy. And so if I get this email in, and let's say it's about COVID-19 policy, and I want to move that into a folder, I can right-click on it. Well, I've covered it before that. We're big into OneNote here, so this email about COVID-19 policy, I want to put it into OneNote, and I'm going to put it into the HR section of OneNote. When I click OK, it takes that whole email that maybe somebody in the organization wrote a very powerful email with good information or documentation about something in the company, and I want to organize it into our documentation system or HR policy. Very easy to move it into a OneNote to organize it. But the other thing we can do with the email is we can use the move to a folder. I can move it to a folder, but I want to talk now about quick steps. And a quick step is I'm going to move this to a folder, and I send an email out on Monday mornings to the whole company, and it's kind of FYI, by the way, and an update on the company. And in this case, I want to put it into specifically that folder. And rather than having to hunt down that folder, move it to a folder, oh shoot, it's not available here, I created a quick step, a rule that I can easily click on. How do I do that? I right click, I go to quick steps, new quick step, move to the folder type quick step, and I create this rule. A little bit different than move to folder. It's a quick step so that it's like a macro. It does more than one thing at one time. Another powerful integration of Microsoft 365, the platform, the system, is if I want to move this conversation to Teams, I can do that. Now, if this is good information, I can put it into OneNote. I can also share it to a whole team. So let's just say that I want to share it to the leadership team, the impact team, and I can select the impact L10 meeting team and share that entire content into that channel so we can discuss it at our next meeting. So share to teams comes from the ellipse on the right side here, share to teams. But I can also move the conversation into teams. So I'm going to reply to an individual or reply to all. in this case, I'm going to move the conversation into Teams, reply to all, and it creates a new conversation. Doesn't pull the content over, doesn't pull a header over, but if you want to move the conversation, you can do it in that way. Reply to all with instant messaging, which is in fact Teams. Here's a fun one for you. If you're scheduling a meeting, and some of you are using Calendly and some of these calendar apps that are integrated, but if you want to impress people with your power of using technology and you're trying to schedule a meeting, you can reply with, schedule it. Here's my availability. And if you go to options or you go to insert and you select calendar, and I can say today, I can say, well, let's talk about tomorrow or the next day. Schedule time with me. Here's my availability. And I'm going to show time within working hours. And it pulls right out of my calendar and says, here's when I'm free. Go ahead and schedule a meeting with me. Very fast, very efficient, very impressive for your friends and relatives. So those are the 6. I did not do auto text, so let's get into that a minute. And that was the insert or improving auto text. Some of these ideas are very familiar. In fact, I would ask, if you're watching this, email me and say, Mike, I knew 8 out of 9 of those. There's nothing new there. I believe that. And this one isn't new either. But let's talk about auto text. For Word and Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, cross the integration of the platform. If I come down to options here and I go to mail, then I go to spelling and auto correct. This is what I get. I get the option to click on spelling and autocorrect, and it feeds me autocorrect options. And this is where if you mistype about, it automatically corrects it. But you can add, in this case, I added our address. How many times in 10 years am I going to type 560 for some any reason? And the answer is only when I'm talking about our address. When I type 560, it automatically puts our address in. Same thing for i3 Business Solutions. If I type i3, it puts in i3 Business Solutions. I was thinking I'm going to start adding acronyms for this, because if you have acronyms in your industry, then you could put, in our case, SOC. We talk about a SOC, and a SOC is a Security Operations Center. And I always have to type it out, well, our SOC will handle that. And then I have to put in parentheses Security Operations Center, because these are acronyms we use. So again, this goes back decades in Word and Outlook, but very powerful. If you take the time to do it, can save you a lot of time. So we're running out of time here. I'm going to keep going down the home stretch of rules. Create a rule. And let me come back here and say, I was thinking as I prepared this presentation that I do have a whole lot of file folders. Move to folder. Yes, I do, but I've created rules. So if I decide that if I get another email from SBAM, I don't want it to show up in my other folder, I'd rather put it into an e-newsletter folder, I can do that. Now, I have thinned out my e-newsletters. You might not believe that, but I have thinned them out. So in the future, I want to create a rule for emails from the Small Business Administration. I go to rule, create rule, and it'll feed me through it. And so I'll create a rule for everything that comes from SBAM. I want to move it to a folder, and I can select the folder. This allows me to feed folders like this with emails that I might look at on the weekend. I might read them in the future, but they're not the most important thing in the world. And that's what we do with rules. We put them into folders like that. Now, I want to mention that when we get to governance, 2 governance items at i3. If you want somebody to do something, you put it in the to subject or in the to line. But if it's an FYI or a by the way, it's a carbon copy. And so I have a carbon copy folder here that I look at every week or two. How do I do that? And the answer is I create an advanced rule that says, I go to advanced options and I say, if it's sent to me, then I go to the next step. What will I do with it? And I will put it in the carbon copy box. So this is a way to create the carbon copy rule. Come back and say, if I come to e-newsletters and I say, you know what, I'm not going to read 168 updates from IBM. It's just not going to happen. I can right click and delete the whole folder. No, I don't want to delete the whole folder. I want to delete all the items in the folder. So I do want to move all 168 emails to the deleted items folder. Yes, I do. And I can wipe out all those emails at once. Lastly, we are doing a security webinar tomorrow on phishing scams around tax day. It's tax day tomorrow, and phishing scams around that. So if I come to my inbox and I come back to SBAM, I can go to this MHA. I can go to the message header analyzer. We're taught to hover over that email address and scrutinize it. The message header analyzer is standard in Office 365 recent updates, and it will show me exactly what email address that came from, not a spoofed email address. And I can determine whether this is a good email and what, if I reply, who am I replying to? Is it really going to FedEx, or did it come from FedEx Plus? So that is a security feature for analyzing the email in a pretty extensive way. So that is a wrap of our presentation on Office 365 and Outlook, the platform, Microsoft 365. Again, if you're inclined, email me and say, Mike, there's nothing new there. We're all doing this every day of the week. I would enjoy that. Or if you learn something, I'd enjoy that too. But certainly, this is a wrap on our presentation. Stay safe, stay healthy.